New Year sports fans, Off Work Sports back in the building, off and on. I know I'm part-time. Should call me part-time sports right now. Not really hitting the way I should. And resolution for this year is continue your passions, even if you're not making any headway, especially if it's not hurting any of your monetary goals. Why not? I love sports. And we're going to get into it right now and talk about Gervontae Davis and his Lomachenko talk. Straight up, Lomachenko is now being regarded. The hype train is in full aboard. Is it deserved? I think there is some reservation for me on how high it is, but there is at least some recognition that is needed for Lomachenko. Pound for pound, he has to be within the top 15. Okay, I'm a realist. I'm not going to say top 5. I'm not going to say top 10 either. Okay, I'm going to say top 15, and it's because of the level of talent that he's fighting. I've stated several videos before, not his fault. It is really the fault of the era that he's in. He can't find anybody. Now, it is starting to happen. The young boys are in the building, starting to make some noise. And the guy right here you're looking at, Gervontae Davis, is the guy that everyone wants to see, in my opinion, want to fight Lomachenko because he has a couple of attributes that none of the fighters before that Lomachenko has fought, that he's never seen. And his power. This guy has tremendous power. When I look back at the Lomachenko versus Gary Russell fight, even though Lomachenko dominated, there was some points in the fight with Gary's quick hands where I can appreciate a rematch and would love to see a rematch to see how Gary Russell would do in a second fight. However, Lomachenko doesn't look back. You only got one chance at freedom, and apparently there will be no Gary Russell at this time, maybe later on in Lomachenko's career on the downturn. However, on the upturn, now you're looking at a guy, and why I mentioned Gary Russell Jr. is not as fast, but has the hands of stones. And Gervontae Davis out of B-More could be the deadliest fight for Lomachenko. I'm trying to look at what the hell's going on here. Suspended by, what the heck is that? Anyhow, looks like there was a suspension. So as we go forward, the fight he had last week was a pretty, I would say, in the beginning, it looked great. Gervonta was dominating. He controlled the ring, had a lot of power. The foot movement, I think he switches on and off for me. I know he has a little disco. When I talk about disco is what Lomo has. I think Gervonta does have that disco. He showed it in probably 3 fights ago against one of his lower tier competitors that he can disco as well if he needs to. But in this one, he stayed flat-footed, used his jab. Picked his shots, pretty good head movement, not great, not the greatest. I've seen him do better. Again, I'm going to be critical of him because I like him. And I think really nice power shots. Didn't devote too much of his power into Yorkes Gamboa. I've seen him hit harder. However, it was a proper shot to reach his destination. Yorkes Gamboa is an embroiled fighter who is really battle scarred. And really just, a pit bull that's been through about 100 fights and is about 10 years old. I mean, it's really the end of the road for Gamboa, in my opinion, even though I would say he looked in pretty good shape in this fight. And I still think even a wounded Gamboa can take probably 85 to 90% of the division. So with all that being said, he's not a pushover, probably the toughest bout to match to date for Gervontae Davis. So Davis gets into the later rounds between the 7th and 12th has been talked about, and really the 9th and 12th, in my opinion. Stamina. There is a stamina issue. He said there wasn't. There is. Okay, Gervontae Davis has a stamina issue, and I think he needs one more fight before we see the big one. And I think that one more fight should be a test for Gervontae Davis in this division. Gervonta has the opportunity now with a couple fighters in the range. When we look at the lightweight division, it's now starting to pile up, and there's a couple of players that are scary right now when we talk about ratings. Devin Haney is one that comes to mind, okay? Devin Haney is definitely a guy to watch for. I think he's the most deadly of the bunch, to be straight up with you, okay? Because of his length, his ability to get inside, Devin Haney is, to me, the most dangerous fighter in the division. Second up is Gervontae Davis to me. Okay, he has the age. He's closest to Lomachenko. he given the best match. And then we have Teofimo Lopez, who comes in, another power. I would say he's half of everything. He has a little bit of everybody in him, however, not enough. And he's going to go face Vasily. I think he's going to be taught a lesson in the fight, only 22 years old. But he does have the power to knock Lomo out because Lomo, again, hasn't seen the power of a Lopez or Gervonta Davis. Now back to Lomachenko, okay? Now he has the arena. He has the team. He has the competitors to be able to push him. He can now cement his legacy with these young guns. If Lomachenko at 31 years old can sustain his prime for another 3 to 4 years and get all of these guys out, he will then be one of the pound-for-pound leaders in a division. He is pulled back by his weight because he's not able to gain any more weight, right? He's stated several times, this is probably my max. He's done 3 weight divisions, okay? I know there's some special fighters that have done a little bit more. But it is what it is. He doesn't have that propensity. The issue he's going to have with all of these fighters, I want to take a quick peek, and Vasily's always had this disadvantage, but never really had guys with jabs, okay? And the 2 guys with devastating jabs are Davis. Let's go to Haney's length, okay? I'm going to go back in here quickly. Devin Haney, I don't really care about anything else but his reach. 71, okay? Scary. With speed, with youth. Gervonta Davis is at 67, all right? He has long arms for his height, okay? Kind of like Iverson. Remember Allen Iverson? Look at Lopez. 68. Hasn't developed a jab like he should. And then Lomachenko, I believe, is in the 65 range. And I think that's going to hinder him. And that matters. That matters. It's almost like an SUV and a CUV, right? You got the X5 versus the X3. I mean, there's a difference there. And right now, I see that as his biggest calling card to trouble. Luke Campbell, he fought, really dominated him, really was controlling the fight and had a 71-inch reach. Luke Campbell's not of the pedigree of a Haney, even though he's a tremendous fighter and Olympian. I would say Lomachenko's biggest win was over Mr. Luke Campbell. I thought it was a more dangerous match than Jorge Linares, even though Linares was an incredible fight, probably his best fight, a hallmark of his career, one that he can remember, and one that he was actually in trouble of losing if it wasn't for the beautiful body work that he possessed at the end of the fight. With all that being said, not saying much of anything, it's scary times for Lomo, and now it is crunch time. If he can give the kids another year to develop, he will then, for me, be one of the pound-for-pound greatest because I think Lopez needs another 2 fights. I think Gervonta needs another 2 fights. And I think Devin Haney needs another 6 fights. Maybe in the 2022 time period, he can go into a fight with Lomachenko. But Lopez going in the next 6-7 months, I think it's going to be a learning lesson for him. Never really faced this type of competition level. Comey is a tremendous fighter. However, not at the pedigree of a Lomachenko. Would have rather see Lopez fight Campbell or vacate and say, hey, I'll take back my mandatory. Let me take a shot at Luke Campbell. Let me take a shot at Elise Selby. Let me take a shot at one of these other guys. But he's a boxer, and he has to do what he has to do. Other guys coming up. See, there's more to this fire. So Lomachenko has 3 on the radar from the USA. And then he has Ryan Garcia. What can Ryan Garcia do? Love seeing him. Very powerful fighter. 70-inch reach, 5'10", taller for the division. Has all the tools, right? That's the advantage that most of these fighters have. There's always some type of height difference or their ability to be oversized but yet keep the weight is what really changes the small size but have features of a taller fighter is what separates any fighter from any division. It's why John Jones dominated. It's why you're seeing, and I hate to mention those guys from UFC, but I watched that as well. Adesanya, all those guys are way taller but able to keep their weight down. And it's the same thing here for Ryan Garcia, 5'10". He's going to be a guy that's going to have to be moving up as he gets older. But it's flooded for him. And we also got a guy, don't sleep on Gustavo. Gustavo here is a tremendous fighter, Argentina, another powerhouse, a sleeper. Hasn't really had the comp yet, but watch out for Gustavo in the years to come. Another Argentinian, you know how they come. He could be dangerous, and you could well have the makings of what will make Vasily Lomachenko, for me, the pound-for-pound best. Does he beat all of these guys? Depends on when they fight. He's not going to be able to get all of them next year. So in the next 2 to 3 years, I think in that second or third year, Lomo's going to have a lot of trouble, and he's going to have to keep himself in the best shape of his life. All the fights previous to that were great. Linares was his biggest challenge. Now he's in deadly waters, and I'm excited to see what happens. I don't even think Yurkuris Gamboa goes away. I think this division is now loading up to be even better than welterweight with the talent that has been developing here, and I'm excited to see what happens. That's my thoughts on Gervonta Davis. It was more so Lomachenko talk, but Gervonta Davis also has a legacy he can bring to the table because he can also fight all these guys and cement himself for some Floyd Mayweather money easily as this division progresses and if everyone keeps beating the lower tier fighters. So exciting time at lightweight. I'm loving what I'm seeing. A division to watch, talent everywhere. Let's see where it goes. Off Work Sports. Sign off. Peace.